Hello, I'm Sarah Jane with Do Yoga With Me, and you're about to experience a Yang Yin spine yoga class. We will be doing Yang postures, which really help to strengthen and warm up the spine, and then we'll move into more Yin postures, which are a bit more still, but they stretch the spine. I hope you enjoy. Begin at the top of your mat. Turn your palms towards the front of your room. Move your shoulder blades together on the back. Close the eyes, just for a brief moment to have an awareness of your breath. Closing the mouth, breathing in and out through the nose. Tuck your chin back so that you feel your head is hovering over your sacrum. Take a moment to appreciate the in-draw needs to move right down in between the space of the hips. And the out-breath is a drawing in of the belly and back towards the spine. On your next inhale, we'll move into sun salutations. Breathe in, bring the palms up and over the head. Raise the gaze to the eyes if that's available to you. As you exhale, slight bend in the knees as you fold forward at the hips, bringing the nose towards the knees. Inhale, hands under the shins or hands underneath the shoulders as you come out into a flat back. Exhale, bend the knees. Take the hands into prayer. Breathe in as you lift the chest. Exhale, twisting to your right. Inhale, bring your thumbs to center. Come back to center. Exhale to the other side. Keeping your knees side by side. Inhale, bring the arms up. Keep the knees and the hips flexed. Exhale, fold forward again. Step back with your right foot. Drop down onto the back knee. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Step to the top of the mat. Opposite foot comes to the back of the mat. Lay the back knee down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Bring the back leg to the top of the mat. Sit deeply. Inhale, bring the arms up and over the head. Utkatasana, the chair pose. Inhale, the legs straight, arms up and over the head. Slight back bend if you are really working deeply with the spine today. And then exhale, take the hands back to the center of your chest. We're going to repeat that again twice more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees. Inhale, hands to the shins or hands underneath the shoulders, flat back, so really strengthening the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, bring the arms up and over the head. Take the hands into prayer position at the center of the chest, weight in the heels. Exhale as you twist to the right. Inhale, bring the arms up, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, keep the knees bent, arms up and over the head. Exhale, fold. Inhale as you look ahead, step back. Drop down onto the back knee, arms up. Slight back bend if you have warmth in the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Step to the top of the mat. Opposite foot comes to the back of the mat. Drop the back knee. Inhale, open up the body in the front. Exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, both feet side by side. Come into a flat back with hands under the shoulders or under the knees. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bring the arms up and over the head. Exhale, Samasthiti, standing at the top of the mat. This time we'll come right into Utkatasana. So inhale as you bend the knees, bring the arms up and over the head. Exhale, draw your navel to your spine, twist to the right. Inhale, arms to the sky, spine lengthens. Keep the length in the spine as you pull your belly back and twist to the other side. Inhale, arms overhead, stay seated. Exhale, straighten the knees, fold forward, extend the spine. Lunge your right foot to the back of the mat, drop the back knee, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Back foot to the top of the mat. Opposite foot to the back of the mat, lay the knee down, inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, both feet to the top of the mat. Trying to step as quietly as you can to be light on the feet, extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up and over the head. Slight back bend by drawing your tailbone down, pubic bone up. Exhale into Tadasana, mountain pose. Take an inhale and step back to the long side of your mat, both feet wide. Turn your right toes out, turn your left toes in. Arms out to the side. If you're someone who's tight through your shoulders, you want to face your palms up, soften the shoulder blades onto the back, and then bend into the warrior two, Virabhadrasana B. And you can stay with the palms facing up, or to really create the posture, you just flip your palms down. So from the elbow down, it's just the palms flipping, not the shoulders rounding. We're here for 5 breaths. Because the emphasis today is on the spine, you do want to still think about dropping the tailbone, so you are strengthening the lower spine by lifting Mula Bandha, so that's the muscles on the inside of the sit bones. One more breath in as you reach through the crown of the head. Breath out to drop the tail, lift the pubic bone. And then inhale as you straighten your right leg. Turn your toes in on the right side, turn left toes out. Bend into the opposite knee. So just for safety of your joints, your knee is over your ankle. Your spine is still sitting in a straight line. There's a tendency to kind of follow our knee with the spine. Just keep the head sitting right atop the sacrum. Just let all the action be happening across the hips and in the lower back. 3 breaths. 2. 1. On your next inhale, you straighten the left leg, turn the left toes in, right toes out. There'll be 2 options for this next posture. You're going to bend into your right knee again. Take your right elbow to the top of the knee, palm facing up. Sweep your back arm across your body. You're turning your gaze up to the inside of that left palm. Pinky fingers are facing down towards the ground, so you can really slide your shoulder blade onto the back. You're welcome to stay here, but if you want to just twist the spine a little bit more and challenge the balance of the core, you can take your arm that's overhead behind you. Take your elbow that's on the knee underneath your thigh and start to scooch your back leg towards you. You're going to link your peace fingers together, your index finger and your middle finger, so they're holding on to one another, and then press your foot down into your standing leg to lift the other foot off. This is Bird of Paradise. It's a big challenge. Stay where you like to be if you don't like balancing. If you want to come into this a little bit further, you can start to extend at the knee, straighten your right leg out, breathing in, breathing out to really pull the belly to the spine. And then place your lifted leg down on the floor, lunge back out, open the arms up, and then inhale back into Warrior Two, straighten your right knee, and we'll come to the other side. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out, bending into your left knee, left elbow to the thigh. Sweep the arm across the front of your body to really rotate your shoulder, and then reach overhead. Sliding the right shoulder blade down the back so as not to crowd out the back and the shoulders. Staying here or working towards the bind. So taking your arm that was overhead behind your back, taking the elbow on the thigh, underneath the thigh, interlacing the peace fingers, and then heel toeing the extended leg closer and closer to you. Not lifting until you've really lifted your pelvic floor, so breathe out to lift Mula Bandha. Push your standing leg down, and the Bird of Paradise comes into form. You can stay here, or you can extend out the left leg, shoulders back, belly breathing in. Bending the extended leg. This is the one you'll land on. Taking the foot down, extending out your opposite leg. So finding that length again. And then inhale to bring your body back up. Turn right toes in, turn left toes out, and lunge the body up to the front of the mat. Just catching your breath, thumbs into the chest, shoulder blades back and down. Coming back into Ujjayi breath, so mouth closed. Breath moving in and out through the nose, creating that whisper at the back of the throat as the belly draws into the spine. Take an inhale, bring the arms all the way up and over the head. Heel toe your feet to about hips distance apart. Bend your knees and exhale as you fold forward, pulling your belly to your spine. You're going to take your peace fingers and hook them around your big toes for Padangusthasana. You can keep the knees bent, but you want to extend the elbows and inhale out into a flat back. And then as you exhale, you bend the elbows and start to draw the chest towards the thighs. Just having the intention to bring the chest towards the thighs, but recognizing that yoga is a practice and we work towards this. How it really strengthens the spine is if you take a breath in and pull the crown of the head towards the floor by pulling up on the toes, and then exhale to pull your belly back. The core works in tandem with the spinal muscles to create stability. Those of you who have been doing this practice for some time can start to straighten at the back of the knees or stand your feet on the hands so the toes are at the wrist crease. 3 more breaths wherever you are, focusing on expanding the belly as the diaphragm contracts on the inhale, and then pulling the bandhas in on the exhale. Inhale, you can have a slight bend in the knees as you come back out into your flat back and pull up on the toes, straighten the elbows. Exhale the hands to the hips. Inhale, push your feet down to bring the torso back up again. Good. From here, 1 sun salutation to bring ourselves down onto the mat, so narrowing the feet. Inhale the arms up and over the head. Slight back bend if you've got that warmth in the spine. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step or jump both of your feet to the back of the mat, and either from plank or from on your knees, exhale as you lower down into chaturanga. Inhale as you squeeze your shoulder blades back, elbows go straight, gaze goes up, extending the spine. Exhale, push down into your knees to bring yourself to all fours. Just a slight rounding of the spine, and then bring the feet around to the right or the left so you can come to seated position. And we often refer to twists as the tonic for the spine, so we're going to come into a sequence of twists now. You're going to extend out your right leg, cross your left pinky toe side of the foot over to the outside of the thigh, and hugging onto the front of your shin, just pull yourself up so there's lots of integrity in the spine. Take your left arm behind you. Inhale your right arm up. Exhale as you hook the right arm onto the outside of the left thigh, and we twist. Coming into Matsyendrasana. You're welcome to stay here, or if you've recently progressed your practice to the point that you're using binds, you can extend your right arm, reach it through, and bind. So it's still the peace fingers that are grasping for each other, which helps to pull the crown of the head up on the inhale. On the exhale, you're pulling the fingers away from each other to rotate the spine as the belly moves inwards. The breath is fluid, there's no stagnation in the breath. Usually when the breath stops, that means we've gone just a little bit too far. On your next inhale, you bring the gaze back to front, and then exhale as you unwrap the spine. We'll twist in the opposite direction. 1 breath in and 1 breath out. And then inhale your body back. Still working with keeping the left knee bent, you're just going to bring the big toe side of the foot to the inside of your extended leg thigh now. We're going to come into Marishasana, the sage pose. So again, you can hold on to the front of the shin to pull your body up onto the sitting bones, and then inhale the left arm up. So the spine gets lots of length and integrity. And then your bicep comes to the inside of the bent knee, wrap around back. Now for some, this is enough of a stretch because it causes the spine to really flex forward. But if you want to go a little bit further, the right hand can come behind the back, interlace the peace fingers, and then you're pulling against those 2 opposing forces to lengthen the spine on your inhale. And then as you exhale, you're bringing your nose towards your knee, ensuring that we're never leading with our chin or with our neck to pull the body forward. Always breathing down into the bandhas, down into the lower belly. Breathing out to pull the belly button back, and that's what creates the extension. 2 more breaths. Inhaling to lift up halfway, and then exhaling to release the bind. And coming to the other side, extending out your bent knee, bringing your right knee into a bend, bringing the pinky toe side of the right foot around, hugging the front of the shin to pull the spine up tall, and then inhaling as right arm rotates behind us. Stay in the hugging position, or take left arm to the outside of the thigh, and you're pressing into the outer thigh, and the outer thigh is pressing into the elbow to create the twist. And again, you're welcome to stay here, or if binding is part of your practice, you're extending your left arm, wrapping it around and under the thigh, reaching back with your right fingers and then pulling the fingers into each other to twist the spine. And it's not our fingers that are rotating our body, it's not our elbows that are rotating our body, it's the belly and the spine working together. So as you inhale, feel the belly filling up against your thigh. As you exhale, draw the breath in, draw the belly button back. One more breath in this wonderful tonic for the spine. And then inhale your gaze to the front, exhale the rest of you to the front. Still keeping the knee bent, but bringing the big toe side of the foot inwards, holding on to the shin to ground and pull yourself up onto the sitting bones. Inhale, right arm up, reach it to the inside of the thigh, bend the elbow, wrap around back. And this might be as far as you go, or the left hand can come around to the back, interlace the fingers. And you're pulling on the fingers to draw the spine up on the inhale. And on the exhale, pull the belly button back. And there will always be a side where we're not folding very far forward. But the objective is always to reach and try to fold the torso towards the knees. One more in breath and out breath. And then on inhale, we extend the spine. On the exhale, we release. Good. Cross at the ankles and fold forward. If you feel like this is not really stretching your spine nearly enough, it's more getting into the buttocks, you can come up and be in staff pose or Dandasana, which tends to really get into the sides of the spine a little bit more. We're just going to be in a resting forward fold for a moment. In Dandasana, we're holding on to our feet or our shins, and every breath in that we're taking, we're pulling on the limbs to extend the spine. And on the breath out, we're pulling our navel back, using the arm muscles to draw us down without crowding the shoulders around the ears. On your next inhale, pull back on the shins once more to lengthen up halfway. And as you exhale, bring the body out of the posture. We're going to move into our peak pose. It is an inversion. Once you come into the inversion, don't turn your head to the right or the left. Just listen to my words so as not to strain your neck. We're going to bend your knees, scoot your bottom forward so that you've got lots of room behind you on the mat, and lay yourself down onto your spine. Taking your arms down by your sides, palms facing down to the ground. Feet come off the floor, knees over the hip, and just rock the knees in towards your chest to lift your hips and rock them away, breathing in and out. You're gaining enough momentum that eventually you can swing your hips up, bend at the elbows, and take your hands onto the lower back. Exhale, lift the hips, bend at the elbows, take your hands onto the lower back. Fingertips facing the buttocks, heel of the hands on the lower spine, lengthening your chin away from your chest and pressing the elbows and the triceps into the ground. You can stay here. This is very strengthening for the spine to simply breathe in and out, or you can extend the knees. This is something that a lot of yoga practitioners need to work up to, so don't mind if you need to keep the knees bent. Coming into shoulder stand for 5 breaths. The emphasis is on bringing the heels over the hips so as to take more pressure off the neck and the shoulders. Straightening the knees and breathing the belly button back to the spine with every exhale. The natural flow of our breath allows our diaphragm to contract when we inhale and the belly to expand. But when the diaphragm relaxes, the navel naturally moves in, and we're just trying to accentuate that a little bit more by deepening the exhale to really engage the core. Stay here for another 5 breaths, where you can really deepen the compression for the organs and the spine by dropping the toes onto the ground beneath you. Spread your toes wide. You can keep the hands on the lower back for support, or you can extend at the elbows and interlace the fingertips. Press the backs of the arms into the floor. Again, really taking care not to turn your gaze to the right or the left. This makes it even easier for you to feel your belly expanding on inhale, and easier for you to really contract and lift your muscles on the inside of your sitting bones on the exhale, and let the belly button follow. Exhale, and to safely come out of it, bend at your elbows, take your hands onto your lower back, bring the knees over the face, still keeping the body curled in a ball, and then take your arms down by your sides, arms fairly wide, breathe in. As you breathe out, really pull the navel to the spine and start to roll down through your upper back, through the middle back. Let the lower back settle onto the floor. Let both feet come onto the mat. Bringing your feet off the floor, knees in towards the chest to really round the spine, and then drop the knees over to the right. Coming into Supta twist, Supta meaning on our back. And this is our first yin posture of the practice. Everything we've been doing to this point has been very yang, very fluid, strengthening and stretching of the spine. Now we're going to do more slow, introspective stretching and releasing of the spine, which is really so key. So if you're finding you're not getting a lot of stretch in the top lower part of your back, the topmost part of your sacroiliac joints, then you can bring your knees closer in towards your chest. You can also lift your top knee and then drape the leg in front of the foot that's on the floor, and take your right hand to the outside of the right hip to gently add more stretch to the SI joints. To work your neck spine, you can turn your gaze towards your left fingertips. And our yin shifts our practice from being fluid and only being in a posture for maybe 5 breaths to being in a passive posture for, in this case, 3 minutes, but up to 5 minutes we might spend in a yin posture. And in that amount of time, the muscles are not only firing to become stronger, after about 1.5 to 2 minutes, they're stopping their firing and they're starting to release and ungrip. And the fascia, which is surrounding the muscles, begins to gently tear and open, which creates more lines of energy in our body. And creates more freedom in our joints. You can stay here in the more therapeutic version of the posture, or if you would like to get a little bit deeper into the lower back, you can extend out your top leg, taking your right hand to the pinky toe side of your foot, flexing the toes back towards your face. And now you're getting into more of the iliotibial band, set of muscles on the side of the legs, and freeing up the sacroiliac joints a little bit more, and the lower back. And yin really is an introspective practice, as I mentioned before, in that when the body is still, we're meant to sort of focus on that stillness and the quiet in the mind, but as human beings, our mind will start to wander. So to keep your focus on just releasing and letting go, you may want to work a little bit with pranayama or intelligent breath, and that's maybe breathing into the count of 3 or 4, suspending the breath for 1 moment, and then exhaling for 4. And adding a structured breath practice to a yin practice just really helps you round the practice into a mind and body experience. In for 4, hold the breath, out for 4. This is our last breath here. Finish your exhale, and then if you are holding the foot, release it, bring both knees into a bend side by side. Turn your gaze up to the sky if you were in rotation with the neck, and then inhale as the knees come up through center. And then exhale as you drop to the other side. Just taking a moment first for the body to settle, and then starting to structure the posture a little bit more. So maybe you're just staying exactly as is. Maybe you're lifting that top leg higher and taking your hand to the outside of the thigh just to create some gentle traction. Turning the gaze. Either way, you're committing your body to stillness. And yoga is a discipline. So you're going to let your breath be tethered to your busy mind so you can truly teach the body. So every time the mind wanders, you take a breath in. Maybe say to yourself that you've noticed a thought, and then exhale to let that thought go. And after the first minute, you'll start to notice that the knees get heavier. The spine lets go a bit more. And this is when the yin therapy starts. This is when the muscles know they don't need to twitch and act as fast anymore. They can start to slow down. They don't require as much energy. And so the fascia that surrounds them starts to stretch again. And we start to feel those little facet joints in between the vertebra and our spines, maybe letting go a bit. And this is when we might choose to extend the top leg, take the hand closest to the foot, to the outside, flex the toes back, extending at the knee, and expanding on the posture. Adopting that pranayama if we need, inhaling to the count of 4, holding for 4, exhaling. I need to correct myself, David. I got that wrong.
Okay, do it.
Okay. Inhaling to the count of 4, holding the breath for 1 count, and then exhaling for 4. appreciating that even in a pause where you're not doing anything at all, the organs are benefiting. So in the Chinese medicine tradition, yin postures really serve the meridians of the gallbladder, the kidney, the liver. So you're really doing something more visceral for the body. And now if your gaze was turned to the opposite shoulder, bring your gaze back up to the ceiling to align the neck spine. On your next exhale, let go of the foot if you're holding it. Knees are bent. And then inhale as we swing the knees back up through center. Exhale as the feet come to the floor. Take a moment to extend the arms over the head and reach the legs long, extending at the knee and pressing the balls of your feet down towards the floor as you reach your fingertips towards the wall behind you. Bend the knees again. Drop the knees over to the right or to the left, and then bring yourself up to seated position. You may need to angle yourself slightly on your mat so as to come into half butterfly or half Baddha Konasana. So your left knee is going to come into a bend with the heel moving towards the front of the pelvis. Your other leg is going to extend out to a comfortable position. You want to have both of your sitting bones anchored on the ground. You can bring your elbow onto the top thigh, or if you have the flexibility, your elbow can come to the inside of the thigh. Your other arm is going to extend up. So initially we open up the angle of the body, but you're going to work towards reaching your top arm towards your extended leg. You can stay here. We're only going to be in this posture for about a minute. It's a really deep yin posture. If you don't like the arm extending over the head, then you can bring the hand behind the back if you like. We're just trying to stretch out the mid-back, and we're releasing through the side of the neck as well as we just let our ear drop to the shoulder. From here, you may feel that your body has the ability to go a little bit deeper, in which case you can extend the arm of the extended leg and grab the pinky toe side of the foot and begin to pull the spine towards the toes. Just being mindful not to lift your opposite sitting bone. So the left sitting bone is not coming off the floor in this effort to reach for our toes. We'll be here for 5 more breaths. On your next inhale, you reach the arm all the way back up. Straighten the spine halfway, and then exhale to let go of the foot. Feel free to move your spine around in circles and a little Sufi grind just to release and give it some mobility. And then our extended leg comes in and we come into Ardha Baddha Konasana on this side, opposite side. So we're extending out the opposite leg, and then you're taking your elbow to the top of the thigh or to the inside of the thigh, so you're anchoring it into the floor. Just enjoying the side bend without the arm, or extending it up, reaching it overhead so that the thumb comes towards the big toe. So where you should feel the stretch is across the lower back on the outside edges of the back, and maybe perhaps up to the mid-back and the sides and center of the ribs. Tuck your chin in slightly and keep your gaze straight ahead if your neck needs that, or you can drop the ear to the shoulder to really accentuate the stretch. Don't worry so much about the shape your body is making, it's more about the function. So if the arm does need to be slightly limp and floppy, don't worry about extending at the elbow. Remaining here for the last part of the posture, or you can reach for the outside edge of the foot and just begin gently pulling or extending the crown of the head towards the flexed foot. Just letting gravity take the body deeper, not forcing, not pulling. Yin is meant to be very passive, but it's heavy enough to put just the right stress on our joints. Three more breaths. On the inhale, we sweep the arm that's over the head up and back, lift up halfway, and then exhale as we slowly slide out to release the posture. Coming into dragonfly, now we'll be in a position where both of the legs are extended. This is also known as konasana. If your legs don't extend out wide, don't worry about that. You're just trying to get them as wide as you comfortably can. And you can also sit on a cushion to bring the hips up above the knees so that you can truly get the spine straight to begin with. We'll walk the hands forward. And you'll feel that as the fingertips come forward, you feel a stretch mostly in the hips and the groins. And that is fine, but if you do want to focus more on the middle part of your spine and the sides of your spine, start to walk your hands over so that the fingertips are on either side of the leg, and then breathe out as you fold. If you've chosen that option, you'll spend half a minute on one side, half a minute on the other. If you've chosen folding to the front, just stay where you are, to the front. We'll be in this posture for a full minute. If you're folded over one leg, walk your hands back up towards you. Pivot the upper torso and walk towards the opposite side. And again, not focusing so much on the areas that are pulling or resisting. Instead, focusing on the breath and trusting that with time and with just letting the weight of the head drop down, the body will naturally start to open. It will gradually start to decompress and unwind. This is truly the most effective way to become more flexible, is to not force the body into shapes, but rather just let it release. On your next inhale, you're moving the gaze up towards the toes on the inhale, or looking straight ahead on the inhale. And then exhale to slowly, slowly come out of a yin posture so as not to shock the muscles. Round your back, bring your knees into a bend, and we'll come into our final yin posture. So as opposed to coming into a really deep back bend, which is saddle, which those of you that are experienced can certainly do, I'm going to take you into something called half saddle. So You're going to extend one leg out on the mat and bring the other leg behind you with the heel on the outside of the buttocks. Take your hands behind you, and you may just enjoy this gentle compression of the lower back, tucking your chin to your chest. If you know you can go a little bit further, you can begin to come down onto the elbows and the forearms. Again, keeping your gaze at head. If you do have neck issues, letting it fall behind if that freedom in the neck and the throat feels good for you. You can expand on this pose completely, knowing that we will be here for another 2 minutes, by bringing yourselves all the way down onto your back, but you want to keep the knee anchored on that bent knee, and you can reach the arms back and behind the head and grab for opposite elbows. If you know this doesn't work for you, come back up to the halfway point. So this is a bit of a back bend, so it's compression for the spine from below the ribs to the base of the tailbone. If you have a foot or an ankle injury, you'll want to be putting a pillow underneath the ankles or the toes. Your extended leg, initially the foot is active and flexed, but as we melt more and more into the posture, the leg can release. You can add a little bit more stretch across the front of your hip flexor by tucking your tailbone, tilting your pubic bone towards you. But find that place of peace. In yoga we call it sukha, and sukha is that blissful state where the body is not resisting, it's just breathing and feeling. Resisting that urge to get up and go and do something else, take 5 more breaths. Just giving your body permission to stay. It'll feel like you're doing nothing at all, but you're really doing so much for your tissues and your body. If you brought your arms back and behind your head, extend the arms out. Inhale as you bring them up over the head and back down by your side. To safely come out of this, tuck your chin towards your chest. You might want to anchor your hand onto the sides of the legs. Press the elbows into the floor, come up halfway, tucking the chin to the chest, breathing in and out. And then press the hands into the mat and breathe in again as you come all the way upright. Breathe out to unwrap the leg, bring it into extension, shake it out if you need to. Bring the opposite foot back. So again, cushioning any ankles or heels that need it. Always starting off in the least strenuous part of the posture and then moving towards putting more and more stress on the joints. So you can stay here, or you can come down onto the forearms and the elbows. Chin tucking forward or head releasing back. Tucking your tailbone, feeling the pubic bone lift will really accentuate the stretch across your hip flexor and your psoas. Or choosing to completely recline. Bringing the arms back and behind the head, grabbing opposite elbows. And yoga is never meant to bring pain into the body, and it's only when we let our egos become involved in our yoga practice that that happens. But give yourself a gentle reminder not to feel any pinching, any sharp pain. That's a sign that we are no longer doing yoga. So modify by coming back up to halfway if that's happening for you. Or simply end the posture and bring yourself into child's pose. One more minute. Taking a more bountiful breath in as you start to welcome the end of the pose, extending the arms out, bringing them up and over the head, down by your sides, anchoring your hands around the hips, tucking your chin in to protect the neck, pressing the elbows into the floor and coming up halfway, breathing in and out, and then pressing into the hands, bringing the body all the way up, uncrossing. Unbending the leg, passive forward fold. Inhale your gaze to your toes, and then exhale as you slide the hands up the legs, and just continue to roll yourself right down to your back for final corpse pose or shavasana. Extend your legs out, flop your feet back and forth, wiggle the hips right and left to settle the pelvis down into the earth. Then extend your arms out to the sides, or if you really want to feel the breath, you can take your hands onto your belly and onto the chest. And again, we're continuing with that idea of not focusing so much on moving at a fast pace, but rather slowing everything down. Giving ourselves permission to simply lie in stillness. No muscle energy. And now continuing to breathe, but letting your mouth be open wide so you can really draw deep, full breaths into the front, sides, and backs of your ribs and your upper abdomen. When you breathe out, imagining the body is releasing any stagnation. Doing this another couple of times. Drop your head to the right and the left. Bringing one leg into a bend, foot on the floor, other leg into a bend, feet on the floor. Dropping the knees right and left. And then rolling your body onto the side and still pausing on your side. Press into your hand to guide yourself up to seated position. You can still keep the eyes closed. Cross-legged position, or you can bring yourself into half lotus or full lotus with the heels into the hips. Take your hands into Anjali Mudra. So we're joining the right side of the body and the left side of the body, the yin and the yang together as we press the palms in, broaden across the collarbones. Feeling our spines are taller and stronger as we lengthen through the crown of the head. And then we bow to honor the practice. Namaste, we fold. Thank you.